Raising the age of criminal responsibility could be on the agenda in Victoria in coming months as a bolstered Green Party names it their top priority. It comes as the 60th Parliament of Victoria is being opened, with 40 new MPs being sworn in. Our political reporter Simon Loves joins us. Simon, what are the rest of the party's views on this?
Bit of a mixed view, but it seems that there is a bit of a consensus towards some form of reform. The age of criminal responsibility here in Victoria currently 10, but there have been growing calls for it to be raised to 14, particularly from the Greens Party, who comes to Parliament now with 8 MPs in both, split between both houses of Parliament, essentially doubling its representation. So here was their leader, Samantha Ratnam, putting on record why she believes the age should be increased, and also flagging that she'd introduce a bill into the upper house to do that.
And the evidence and the case was really clear in that report. That working group recommended raising the age to 14. Yes, we've had the Northern Territory go to 12. We've had the ACT go to 14. That tells us that Victoria must now show leadership across the country by raising the age to 14.
But it seems that the coalition might be open to actually supporting some form of reform. The opposition leader here in Victoria, John Pizzuto, indicated he'd want to have a party room discussion on this, but the man that he defeated for the Liberal leadership, Brad Batten, has told Sky News that he doesn't want to see young children in jail, and he's open to some form of reform, particularly after he studied what's been happening in other countries such as the United Kingdom.
I think we've got to be careful if you're just going to raise the age of responsibility, and I've been on record about how I'm speaking about it, but we don't want to see kids under the age of 14 in jail. I think we need to start to reassess how our justice system works in the youth area, so we've got the best outcomes, which is for Victorians, for the safety of the community, but the best outcomes is where young people aren't going into prison, therefore not becoming repeat offenders.
Brad Batten there, the brand new shadow criminal justice minister, but the Premier and the leader of the Labor Party, Daniel Andrews, ultimately wants to wait for federal reform before any laws are introduced here in Victoria.
I think there's some hope that with Mark Dreyfus chairing that Council of Attorneys General, that there is some prospect that we can get a national approach. If we fail to achieve that, then of course the government always reserves the right to act to put the best framework in place here. But if and when we put a bill to the Parliament, then the Greens can make their decisions then.
Simon, just talk us through what else is happening there today.
So in around about half an hour's time, the Governor, Linda Dessau, will arrive here at Parliament. She'll be greeted on the steps and ultimately taken into Parliament to give a speech in the upper house outlining the government's agenda for the 60th Parliament of Victoria. A number of MPs have also been sworn into their new roles, particularly 40 new members to the Victorian Parliament, including John Pizzuto, who returns to the Victorian Parliament as opposition leader after 4 years not being the member for Hawthorn. Now in the lower house, the Speaker has been re-elected. That's Marie Edwards. She was dragged to the chair by 2 of her colleagues, including the Leader of the House, Mary Ann Thomas, and her appointment's been welcomed by the Premier and the new opposition leader.
Speaker, it's a great honour on behalf of the Parliamentary Labor Party and the government to be here in such strong numbers, and on behalf of all my colleagues to congratulate you on your elevation to such high office.
I should say it's been some time since you and I last spoke in this place. I had to pop out for a bit. But being back, I'm delighted to offer our congratulations to you.
In the upper house, Sean Lean has been elected President of the Legislative Council after being dumped from the Andrews government's cabinet. He returns to that role. Later today, though, we're expecting a myriad of annual reports and Auditor General's reports to be effectively dumped, given this is the only sitting day this week and just a couple of days before Christmas. The Premier, though, defending the process.
The Auditor General informed us, and government departments informed us, there is a shortage of auditors across the public sector, right across our nation. So the reports will be tabled. They would have been tabled earlier, but they simply weren't ready.
So amid all the pomp and ceremony, there'll be a bit of light reading for politicians, maybe journalists too, at the end of today.